Hey, it's time for another
Everyday Getaway.
And guess what? Today we're back in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's been a while, but folks have been asking, hey, when are you going to make us another recipe or give us a good dessert? So we thought, hey, we're making a dessert. Let's give the people what they want.
Yeah, that's right. This one's an easy one, but it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it does. We got it from the Paula Dean Facebook page. It sounds delicious. It's Heavenly Butterscotch Pie.
Sounds great. Hey, join us in the kitchen. Let's give it a try.
All right, this Heavenly Butterscotch Pie has a graham cracker crust, and we love a good graham cracker crust, so we're going to double it. To double it, we need 2/3 of a cup of granulated sugar, which we've already got measured out. We're going to need 12 tablespoons of butter melted, which we will get melted here in a second. And then we're going to get Doug going on to work here because we need 3 cups of graham cracker crumbs. So we're going to get him chopping up some graham crackers to make us some crumbs. So here we go. Let's make ourselves a crust.
Okay, so I'm going to get started off with my crust here. I have some butter over here melting. I'm going to make about 3 cups of crushed graham crackers with my little Ninja here. And this should make a nice thick crust for us. Okay, so I'm getting close to 2 cups here, and remember I want 3 cups.
And so far, we've gone a little over a sleeve, so I think it's going to take at least 2 sleeves to get us to 3 cups, maybe a little bit more. All right, Doug did all the hard work. He's got all of those graham crackers pulsed down to a nice fine crust, and it took about 2.5 sleeves. We're going to add to that 2/3 of a cup of sugar. Maybe need, oh look, there's a little piece of graham cracker. Might need a little bit bigger bowl, but I think we can do this here. I'm going to make a well in the center once I get it mixed and go for the butter down the center. Now you can definitely crush these like in a Ziploc bag with a rolling pin or something. We just have the Ninja, so we use that. But if you have any sort of thing that'll help you crush it, just be careful of those blades. We have learned the hard way. All right, I'm going to get this mixed up, get it into our pan, which should just take a minute or so. Still need to mix a little bit, but for space, I went ahead and plopped it over into our pie dish here.
And while she's mixing this together, if you take a couple of seconds and do me a favor and hit that like button, share this video out, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. It really helps us out a lot.
All right, then we're just gonna go in for a good mash up the sides, down in the bottom. If you don't like a thick crust, like Doug and I have said we really like, this recipe just calls for the single. We just doubled it up. So in the description, I'll put the recipe for the crust as a single, and if you want to double it to get the thicker crust. Yeah, looks good. All right, for the heavenly filling, we're gonna mix up some pudding and then fold in some homemade whipped toppings. So we need a box of instant butterscotch pudding. We've got 1/4 of a cup of powdered sugar, 2 cups of cold milk, a teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 cup of whipping cream.
And what size box of Jello is that?
It's 3.4 ounces.
Okay.
And I will say that I don't know if you guys call powdered sugar, confectionery sugar, or 10X. That's what it is. My mom always called it confectionery sugar. My grandma called it 10X. So I don't know. That's what it is though. Let me know. Drop it in the comments what you call it, or if you know the difference between them. I think one is a brand, but anyway, let us know.
Okay, so I'm going to start mixing together my butterscotch pudding and my 2 cups of cold milk here.
And that's really just like you're mixing up pudding. So mix it until it starts to thicken, and then we're gonna put that off to the side while we work on some whipped topping. And while we're working, this is Gibson. If you want to know why Gibson is being so patient just sitting here on the floor, it's because his treats are in that cabinet and he's already had 2. But he just is begging sweetly, but waiting.
Okay, so I've gotten my pudding mixed together here. I'm going to set it in this other bowl. I'm going to let it sit for about 5 minutes. And then I'm going to make my whipped topping. I'm going to mix it in with it. Okay, what are we going to do next?
We're going to make the whipped topping. So we're going to whip it good into shape. I don't know remember all the words, but we're going in with a cup of cold whipping cream, heavy whipping cream, tablespoon of vanilla, the 1/4 of a cup of powdered sugar, and we're just gonna let this go until we get some soft peaks. I'm gonna start out slow and then move it up a little bit. All right, we've got our soft peaks, and we're gonna call an audible. We went by the ingredient list and the amounts that was given to us, but I don't really feel like this is enough to go in the filling and to cover the top. We have whipped topping here, so we're going to fold all of this into the butterscotch pudding and make the filling, and then we're going to just use some of that pre-made whipped topping for the top. You certainly could double this, but I think to be able to have enough inside and on top, you would need to at least double it. All right, we're just gonna fold the whipped topping into the pudding, and I'm gonna put it all in there like I said, but if you'll notice, there's no way that's enough to go in the filling and on the top. Whoops, sorry about that. But we're just gonna gently fold it to lighten up the butterscotch pudding. It is called a heavenly butterscotch pie, so I think that this is gonna lighten that center up so it becomes real heavenly. All right, next up, we're gonna pour that into the crust. Swoosh it all around.
And we did put the crust in the refrigerator for about 5 minutes also. While the pudding was sitting in the refrigerator, we put the crust in there.
There you go. All right, a few dollops will do us. Gonna put some dollops on the top and then smooth it out. Hopefully not make a big mess. You certainly could put this back in the fridge prior to doing this just to thicken it up a little bit more, but I think we're okay here. Let us take our time. Smooth easily. Make it look party. And then, last but not least, you need to use butterscotch chips or some butterscotch like ice cream topping to go on the top. And I should have cut this ahead of time. There we go. We're just gonna sprinkle these on. I can smell the butterscotch. I think the graham cracker crust will give a nice crunch and also balance out, along with the whipped topping, some of the richness. We'll see. All right, here we go. Heavenly butterscotch pie.
Okay, as you can see, it looks pretty good. We're gonna stick it in the refrigerator for a couple hours, let it get nice and cold, and then we're gonna give it a try. Okay, so that was pretty quick and easy.
That was.
Not a bad recipe at all.
No.
You can see it's nice, and you can see that butterscotch coloring in there. We got a few chips up on top. The crust is nice and thick.
All right, gonna get a bite from the side here and try to get a little bit of everything. I like the thick crust. Definitely butterscotchy in the middle. It's light and fluffy with that whipped topping kind of folded into it. Butterscotch chips on the top.
Yeah, I say it has really good flavor. I really like the crust. It's a nice summertime treat. One thing I probably don't like are the butter scotch chips on the top.
Yeah, you could use like
I don't
ice
like
cream
that.
topping.
Too much
Right.
crunches.
Crunches, yeah.
Yeah.
But you could do the drizzle and that might be better. But I do like the butterscotch flavor it adds to it. But I like the crunch from the crust better than the crunch from the chip.
Yeah, right. And this was fun. We haven't done it. If you're new to the channel, we used to do this every single Tuesday. It was fun.
It was. We, for those of you who are new, most of our stuff is travel and adventure, and this was just something fun we did for several years, and folks were asking for us to throw in a new recipe. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for being with us today.
And let us know if you try it.
Yeah, what you think. All right, take care of yourselves, take care of others, and let us take care of you. If you have a prayer request, drop it in the comments, and we will pray over it for you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Please make sure you join us on our next adventure.